Erik, can you hear us?
I got you.
All right. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course.
We really appreciate it. Before we get started, some exciting sponsorship news for your team today. Do you mind just to give us a quick kind of overview of the sponsorship and then your thoughts leading into Kansas this weekend?
Yeah, we are partnering up with Lonely Entrepreneur for 3 races. First at this weekend at Kansas, and then on to Coda and Nashville as well. So a pretty cool company. I'm learning more about them and what they really are, but they provide resources to entrepreneurs who are trying to get their footing in the business world and helping them out. And we're also really, spotlighting Black entrepreneurs as well, which is going to be a cool program and one that I'm excited to work with and have learned a lot about here in the last really just few days. So it's been cool to learn more about it and get to know them a little bit.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time, and we'll go to the media for questions. If you have a question for Erik, friendly reminder, just utilize the raise your hand option within the Zoom platform or send us a chat, and we'll monitor that area as well. And to kick us off with questions, we're going to go to Anton with ASN Motorsports. Go ahead, Anton.
Thanks, Amanda. Good afternoon, Erik. So, speaking about last Sunday's race, but to lead several laps at Talladega, what was going through your head at that moment when you were in the lead of the field?
Well, I was hoping it was going to stay green. I thought that was our best shot to try to win. Unfortunately, we had that yellow come out, but just trying to defend the line and what was coming and just trying to obviously keep that lead. So I was just happy though to get up front, lead some laps with the Air Force on the car. That was their first race this year, so it was cool to get them up front. Obviously wish we could have closed the race out a little bit better, but overall, I thought it was a good race for us.
Thank you. Wishing you all the best for this weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jeff with Empire Sports. Go ahead, Jeff.
Thank you, Amanda. Erik, thank you for joining us today. It was a strong weekend for you guys. You get out front, lead some laps, but unfortunately, the final result doesn't, reflect the great day you guys had. What do you tell your team after a rough finish like that, despite some positives overall?
Well, I think you just have to keep your head up and know that we did bring a fast car, one that was quick enough to win the race. Obviously, we were up front and leading laps, so. You got to take it with a grain of salt. It's kind of Talladega, and that's how things go there sometimes. But definitely just want to keep those guys motivated and inspired. I think they've been doing a really good job and giving me some good cars. So, things come together. We just got to keep doing what we've been doing, really, and wait for the rest of it to kind of fall into place for us.
10 races into your RPM tenure, we've seen you race at several different tracks on the circuit thus far, all different kinds of track through these 10 races, through a very unique schedule. What are your impressions of RPM? If you could give us a bit of a self-assessment, if you please. Like, what are your impressions of RPM and what can you guys be doing better at this point?
Well, I think it's been good. I think overall we just want to consistently improve each week and, still, find our footing. We are getting better and better, and just, with no practice, it takes time to kind of get to know each other and figure out what we need out of the race car and how we got to go through the weekend. But I think we've been doing a good job, and I think RPM does a good job. And they've, got good equipment, and we just have to take advantage of what we have. Obviously, we don't have the same number of people as a lot of these bigger teams, but I think we've got really good people, the people that we do have. So just doing what we can to take advantage of that and making the most of every week.
Appreciate your time. Good luck at Kansas.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Bob Pockers. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Erik, I'm curious, do you have any sort of races that you feel like your team should focus on as far as trying to get a win to get in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, Talladega was one of those races, that we wanted to try to win, and I thought we had a good plan and did have a shot. But moving forward, Daytona coming up, obviously the season finale a little ways out, but Darlington is in a couple of weeks, is a great racetrack for myself, and won there a couple of years ago. So we're really putting a lot of weight on that one. And so that's probably the next one though on the schedule, I would say, is Darlington, that we really get to, focus hard on and hope we can take advantage of that place.
And, anything 10 races in that you felt like has been more of a challenge than you anticipated?
Well, I think just no practice has been more of a challenge. Last year, I didn't really think much of it. But I'd also been with, that organization for a few years with the same crew chief. So we had a lot of notes. And, kind of going in a little bit blind this year with, you know, a new team, a new crew chief, a new car, new manufacturer. Everything's a lot different. So having no notes has made the no practice, I think, just stand out more for me this year as over last year.
Thanks, Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next question will come from Dustin Albino. Go ahead, Dustin.
Yeah, Eric, with what you just said, how have you had to kind of temper expectations this year, or have you had to temper expectations?
I don't think so. I think we just, you know, go out every week with, you know, the hope to run top 10, and we've done that a few times. I think we're probably capable of doing it a few more. We just didn't have things really work out for us. So I think we've, you know, kept our expectations pretty similar to what we began the year with, and that's just going out and trying to obviously get those top 10s and you know, take advantage of the places we know we can go up front and try to win at.
Thank you, Eric.
Yep.
Okay, our next question will come from Kelly Crandall. Go ahead, Kelly.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Eric, you mentioned Darlington, excuse me, and I'm just curious, we're going to Darlington this year with the high horsepower package, changing up the aero package. So I'm just curious what you think that will do for the racing, and if you think that package will be better suited for Darlington.
Yeah, I think so. It's been a few years now since we've ran it, but you know, I was trying to kind of pin back through my mental notes, I guess, of what the track was like last time we ran the low downforce package there, and I thought the racing was good both ways, but I think the low downforce is going to be fun as a driver. It's definitely a challenge there with how slick and worn out that place is. So I'm excited to get there and give it a shot again. We were on the simulator today doing some laps and just kind of getting reacquainted with it, and you know, it was fun. I always like Darlington, and we ran good there with the low downforce package. You know, we were top 5, I think, in all those races. So hopefully we can just kind of keep that trend going.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Zach Albert. Go ahead, Zach.
Great, thanks, Amanda. Eric, I think you were in that bottom lane coming to the white flag at Talladega, and DiBenedetto had given it up and kind of went up to block the top side. And you know, fairly or unfairly has drawn a little bit, maybe some criticism for kind of making that move, and you know, that lane kind of got disorganized up top ahead of him. Is it hard to judge, like, making a split-second call like that, especially in that kind of an environment? And you know, how difficult is that, and how did that figure into kind of your decision making too when it came down to that last low overtime lap?
Well, there's a lot going on, right? I mean, you know, obviously super speeder racing in its own right, it's kind of jam packed in what you got to do, and you got to make quick decisions. But there's also manufacturer, you know, orders and requests and stuff you got to watch for on that side too, from your own seat. So, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you think is going to get you the victory lane. And, you know, Matt obviously thought that was going to be the move that was going to win him the race. And, you know, I honestly couldn't even see it really happen where I was. I was so close to the car in front of me. I couldn't really see much beyond him. But, you know, you're just trying to, at that point in the race, take the runs that you got and just go with them. You can't really kill your momentum because you're on the last lap. You don't have time to get it back going. So you have to go with what you got and trust your gut at that point, and do what you think is going to get you to the win.
Gotcha. So, and I mean, I don't know if you've watched a replay of the last, you know, overtime finish, and is it hard to fault him for making that type of call? Like I know things happen real quick in a split second.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really place any blame, I don't think, on him. You know, he made that move, and to be honest, I haven't seen it. So, but I assume he made that move, you know, wanting to win the race, and he thought that's what he had to do to keep going. And I'd have to go see it though, honestly, to kind of, you know, figure out maybe what his thoughts were more.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, our next question is going to come from Jerry Jordan. Go ahead, Jerry. Jerry, can you hear us? Okay, try again, Jerry. Okay, if you can text me your question, I will definitely squeeze it in. Now we're going to, oh, Jerry, can you hear us?
Okay, I can hear y'all. I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Real quick, just to elaborate on Dustin's question a while ago, he asked you about expectations, but my question is a little more in depth. Are you happy with the direction that you're seeing and what the progress that since you've been there and where you guys are headed in the long term over there at Petty?
Yeah, I've been happy with how it's been going. I think Jerry and I have worked well together, and what we've done this year has been good. So I think we're making gains and doing the right things we need to do to keep getting the cars better and keep getting the team better. And it's just it's not a fast process. You're trying to get a lot of different gears moving in a lot of different directions. But overall, I've been pretty happy with the progress we've been making.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Shiloh with the Buzz. Go ahead.
Hey, Eric. So you seem to have a lot of speed on the super speedways and some of the larger tracks. What type of adjustments do you think that your team needs to make so that you can have that same speed on some of the shorter tracks?
Yeah, I mean, the draft's kind of a great equalizer, and obviously I thought we brought a good super speedway car, but you always kind of got a shot to go up and contend there, no matter what you do. But it's just more development on the intermediate side of things. We got obviously some different kinds of cars that we run at different mile and a halves from Atlanta to Vegas. We struggled at Atlanta, but ran really well at Vegas. But those were two different cars, totally different cars. So I think we've changed our mindset a little bit on some of those tracks, and going into Kansas this weekend, we're running a car real similar to what we had at Las Vegas. So I think that'll be pretty good, but just learning and trying to get a notebook together of, what works, what doesn't. And I think we've done a good job of that. And I think it's going to start to show here as we start to go back to more of these mile and a halves.
Thank you.
Okay, any final questions for Erik before we let him go? Zach, did you have a follow-up? All right. Well,
I did not. My hand was not lowered.
no, you're okay. No problem, Zach. Just wanted to double check. All right, Erik. Well, thank you so much for just joining us this afternoon and for being willing to spend a little bit of time with us before Kansas this weekend. And we wish you the best of luck.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right.